on Friday mornings. So we switched from evening time to morning time. Hopefully, that's going to be more convenient. And we're going to get started. As always, please, if you have questions, leave your comments in the comment section. I'll try to get through and answer them during the live session. And if you have questions that arise after, you can send us a message or leave a comment under the past videos. And we tend to go through them and factor them in and try to answer them during the next live sessions. So today's live is going to talk about the EB-5 deadline that is coming up, September 30th, 2026. And what is the real deadline? Is it September 30th, 2026, or is it September 30th, 2027? So I get asked this question a lot, and let me break it down for you. So the EB-5 direct program, that's where you invest in your own business. You have to create your own 10 employees, only salaried employees count. That program, the direct program, is permanent. It's not going anywhere. It was implemented in 1990 and it's permanent. But less than 5% of EB-5 investors use the direct program. The most common program that is used in EB-5 is the EB-5 Regional Center program, which was implemented in 1992, but it was not made permanent. It is a program that gets renewed every few years. Sometimes those renewals are for 3 years. There were times when we were just getting short-term renewals for 3 to 9 months at a time. The last renewal of the Regional Center program was in 2022, so March of 2022, and the program sunsets, so it works until September 30th, 2027. So the Regional Center program, and that's when we talk about different deadlines, the Regional Center program is in effect, the law is in effect until September 30th, 2027. What happens after that? After that, Congress has to vote to either renew the program, or if they don't vote to renew the program, it just expires. The question becomes, what happens to all the petitions that have been filed by September 30th, 2027, but have not yet been adjudicated and investors have not yet received the green cards? What happens to those petitioners if, say, you filed in August of 2027, your petition is still pending and you don't have the initial green card yet? What happens when the program sunsets? If Congress does not renew the program, and if Congress does not implement some sort of a protective order, then those petitioners stand the chance of just having their petition denied, simply because the program ended and there's no longer a benefit. So when we talk about the September 30th, 2027 deadline, the program is technically in effect until September of 2027. But if Congress doesn't renew it past that date, pending petitioners may not be able to get their green card. So that brings me to why September 30th, 2026? Well, it's because the current law has a protective clause in it. It's called the grandfathering provision. And it states that, yes, the EB-5 program will sunset on September 30th, 27, but those petitioners who filed their petition by September 30th, 2026 are grandfathered in. What that means is even if Congress does not renew the program the following year and the program permanently expires, then those petitioners who filed their petitions by September 30th of 2026 still get to continue through the immigration process and can finish their immigration process and will be entitled to their green cards if they're approved. So, needless to say, most immigration attorneys and most legal professionals will say if you are seriously considering the EB-5 program, if you have determined that this is the suitable option for you, then it is best to seek to file your petition by September 30th of 2026 instead of waiting for the following year. Because if you file by September 30th of this year, you're grandfathered in. So you're protected from future changes in the law. If you file after that date, you simply don't have that protection and you will be at the mercy of future congressional action, right? So Is it still going to be possible to file the EB-5 petition after September 30th? Absolutely. The program is still going to be working. You will still be able to invest and file your petition. You'll be able to file your I-526 and concurrent adjustment, but you are subjecting yourself to that potential risk that if Congress chooses not to renew this program, you may not be eligible for a green card. So, um, do I foresee that investors will still be filing in 2027? Absolutely. I mean, we've been through these expirations many times before, and in prior years, really until 2022, we never had a grandfathering protection. So when it was 2012, 2014, 15, 19, when investors were filing their petitions, they assumed the risk that if during the next renewal the program is not renewed, they wouldn't be eligible for this green card. I do think that, um, I'd be a little bit just more careful in 2027 because we do have a different administration in place. An immediate renewal is not guaranteed. Last time the program expired was in June of 2021, and it wasn't immediately renewed. It lapsed, and actually, we didn't have the EB-5 Regional Center program for 9 months until it finally was implemented. And so it is possible for this program to lapse after September 30th, 2027. Do I think there's a strong possibility of it being renewed? Absolutely. I know that there are already senators working on legislative language for renewals, lobbying organizations. I also think the program was improved tremendously in 2022, and it seems like a lot of people are very happy with the results of the changes that were made in 22. So I do think there's a lot of support on the Hill for this program, but keep in mind, nothing is guaranteed unless it's written into the current program. So, if you are an investor thinking about filing for EB-5 within the next year or so, I would encourage to see if it is possible for you and if it makes sense for you. And if you can file by September 30th of 2026, you will avail yourself to this additional grandfathering protection, which is why we're expecting a lot of filings by this deadline. So what's going to happen after September 30th, 26? Say you wanted to file by September 30th of 26, but you were unable to make it. Um, you will still be able to file. You'll still be able to pick a project, invest, and file your I-526 petition. The program will still be in force. You will just subject yourself to the possibility of this lapse of the program without grandfathering protection. But things to also consider, you can still file for the EB-5 program between October 1st and December 31st of 26 at the minimum investment amount of 800,000. On January 1st, 2027, the investment amount is set to increase. So the current law, the Reform and Integrity Act says that on January 1st of 2027, the minimum investment amount has to automatically be recalculated for inflation. So if we do a rough estimate, that's probably going to cause an increase from 800,000 to either 900 or 950,000. So if you didn't make it by September 30th and you're still planning to file for EB-5, you may want to consider trying to file in that window of October, November, December of 26, because you can still go in at the 800,000 minimum investment amount. After that, your investment amount is going to be higher. And you can still file between January 1st and September 30th, but it's going to be kind of up to you and your immigration strategy with your immigration attorney. I think some people are going to choose to wait. If you are thinking about this program in August of 2027, you may choose to wait until end of September and see if it's actually renewed before you invest and file. And obviously, other people are going to be in different situations. Either their status is expiring or they want to secure an earlier priority date, and they're willing to kind of take the risk of the program expiring, and that's fine. We also have, we also have some initiative that is going from to try to extend the grandfathering protection. So the current grandfathering protection is only for investors who filed by September 30th of 2026. There are some ongoing conversations on the Hill among lobbying organizations to try to leave the expiration date of the program as is, September 30th, 27, but to extend the grandfathering protection. That way, investors who are investing in 27 would still be protected by the same grandfathering protection. We'll see how those efforts go. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to know about this, about the results of this until end of September of 26. So perhaps come October this year, I will do. I apologize. That was a call coming through and interrupting my live session on YouTube. So that's it. September 26th or September 27, which is the real deadline. September 30th, 2026 avails you to the most protections, the grandfathering protection, and the minimum investment amount is still 800,000. So if you can file by that deadline, that is probably going to be recommended by most immigration attorneys, but definitely seek advice of your attorney because I don't know your individual situation. These lives are not legal advice. This is not investment advice. This is not to tell you that you should pursue the EB-5 program. This is just meant to educate you about the different options out there, and if you are seriously considering that this program may be right for you, you need to meet with a qualified immigration attorney. You can speak to a FINRA licensed and regulated broker about different EB-5 projects that are available, and you can make that decision, individually for you, balancing out your specific factors, your pre-qualification, and the program requirements. So September 30th for those who want to be protected by the grandfathering protection. September 30th of 26 is the deadline for those who want to be protected by the grandfathering protection. September 30th, 2027 is when the current program expires, so applications can still be filed until a date under the current program. Um, you know, with the hope that the program is going to get extended, but no guarantee of such. And January 1st, 2027, the minimum investment amount will increase. So keep those three deadlines in mind. If you guys have any questions, please send us those questions. If you have any follow-up requests, please let me know. I do want to, since we're doing this session, I do want to go through what needs to be done if you are trying to make it in by September 30th of 2026. How realistic, and I get asked this question a lot by investors. Right now, it's April of 2026. If an investor comes to me today and says, can I still file by September 30th? Is it realistic? Absolutely. Average EB-5 petition between working with your immigration attorneys on your source of funds documentation and selecting a project. On average, it takes investors between 2 and 3 months to complete that process. So we still have, ample time before September 30th. Can it be done faster? Yes. When we are approaching deadlines, petitions can be prepared and filed in as quickly as a few weeks. It is kind of pushing in and it's making it a little bit more stringent, but it depends. In my personal experience, both as an attorney and a broker, the fastest case that I personally have ever worked on, and this is absolutely not saying that this is possible for everybody. The circumstances there aligned, but the fastest case from the initial consultation of when the client sat down with his attorney and with me to discuss EB-5 program and determine that they want to move forward to the actual filing date was 10 days. I mean, it required that law firm to put aside everything they were doing that week. In that person's case, they found out that they were denied in another petition and their lawful status was running out in literally 10 days. So there was a very hard deadline. At the same time, their source of funds documents, they had them available. Their funds were ready and accumulated and ready to be wired to the project. So this law firm spent 10 days, including weekends, all of their staff, but hands on deck, worked with the client's documents to ensure that they could prepare all the forms, document the source of funds. We were able to select a project within a couple of days because I, as an investment broker, already had projects that I could discuss with the client that were that passed our due diligence. So we were able to make a decision quickly because the funds were liquidated. They were able to wire within a week, and by day 10, their petition was filed, has since been approved by USCIS. Um, that is the shortest amount of time I've ever seen a petition filed in my now almost 15 years of working with EB-5. This is not going to be possible for most people. So I say 2 to 3 months is a healthy time. And if you're really pushing up the deadline, is it still possible for some people to file if they discover this program on September 1st? Yes, but it's going to depend on your individual circumstances, and you're going to want to work with some very, very organized and experienced professionals. So please don't wait till September 1st. Don't even wait till August 1st. I think it would be very prudent if you're considering filing before September 30th, 2026. It is prudent to start talking to your immigration attorney now in April. Start gathering documents. Also, law firms are less busy now than they will be in August and September. As you can imagine, law firms that specialize in filing EB-5 cases are going to be inundated with last minute filings, right? So you also don't want to create a situation that opens up room for human error on both your part and your legal team's part. So don't put it off. Um, Definitely still have enough time. We have 5.5 months left, but my recommendation is not to wait. If you absolutely must, if you're only discovering this program again in August or September, it's still possible for most people to prepare their petition and file. It's just going to require a lot of extra work from you, and you want to make sure your legal team has the resources to do so. So if you guys have questions, need assistance, let me know. If you need resources or recommendations of law firms that work with a lot of EB-5 cases, definitely happy to provide contacts and names. And if you ever want to discuss different EB-5 projects that you believe you qualify for, you can send us a request and we will do a pre-qualification call and see if this program may be suitable for you. But happy to help. Send me your questions, and I'll see you next Friday on next Instagram or YouTube live. Thank you.